Somalis are not terrorizing this nation. We are helping it thrive. Somalis have always seen themselves as a fabric of this nation. So not only are we not going anywhere, we are not going to allow anybody to make us feel less Minnesotan or less American.
We're also going to revoke the citizenship of any naturalized immigrant from Somalia or anywhere else who is convicted of defrauding our citizens. We're going to get them the hell out of here fast. And if you come to America to rob Americans, we're throwing you in jail and we're sending you back to the place from where you came.
It's that act of looking over my shoulder which pains me because I am a United States citizen. This is my home and I don't want to feel unsafe in my home. Mm-hmm. It's harassment disguised as law enforcement.
Well, TPS is a program that was always meant to be temporary. It's a program that is put in place, and I believe for Somalia over 30 years ago, and will need to be evaluated to make sure that it comes and is always implemented in the process for which it was intended.
I don't know if y'all heard, but Trump just ended TPS for Somalis. They got till March 17th to figure it out, y'all. They could either self-deport, which Trump always encouraged because it comes with incentives. I could only imagine how much 1,000 USD could take you in Somalia.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now the Somalis have once again found themselves yet in another pit because Donald Trump just revoked their temporary protective status, and it seems like most of them are not happy about it. Well, I think this is another F around and find out season for them because they refused to listen to the Black Americans and unapologetically voted for this administration, knowing very well what its core policy was, and that is make America great again. And this slogan mostly is usually about removing the people who are not American enough. But for some reason, the Somalis thought they were unexempt. They thought that they were part of this deal. But here's the truth. They were not, and they have never been. Now everything that the Black Americans warned them would happen is finally happening. Let's take a look.
When you wake up and find out your temporary status is gone.
Trump administration is ending the temporary protected status of Somali migrants. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem telling Fox News, temporary means temporary.
Yep. That's the definition.
Country conditions in Somalia have improved to the point that it no longer meets the law's requirement for temporary protected status.
Which means you good, boo. You can go home.
Further, allowing Somali nationals to remain temporarily in the United States is contrary to our national interests. We are putting Americans first.
We got till March 17th to get the heck out, but I love how little mama says, oh, no. He doesn't have the power to do that. How people think that Trump can't make a call or two before he gets on social media. Yo, I'm just calling to make sure that I can remove this temporary status bullshit real quick before I post this. Yeah? Okay, cool. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, a bill was introduced like a week ago to get these MFs out.
Today, you introduced a bill that would terminate temporary protected status for people from Somalia.
Somalia and also 17 other countries that have people that are here illegally, that have no business being in this country at all, that want to see harm done to my fellow Americans. And what prompted this was the complete derelict of duty that we saw from Governor Walz and what happened in Minnesota. These people, according to my bill, will now have about 180 days to self-deport, and that goes with them and everyone else from the other 17 countries.
Like, duh. Like, why would you have a law that says you cannot be an illegal immigrant and your punishment is deportation, and then have a law that protects illegal immigrants from deportation? What Democrat wrote this bullshit?
Somali leaders endorsed Donald Trump during the election, and now he wants to deport them. So if you don't remember, during the election, Somali leaders in Minnesota did a press conference where they publicly endorsed Donald Trump. Now, fast forward to recently, Donald Trump is, doing his press conference on the news, and he's saying that he wants Somali people gone. He says that he does not like them. He says that, I guess, the areas that they live in are poverty-stricken, and, they're not good people, and that's why they don't even want to live in their own country. And he knows that it's not politically correct to say that, but he don't like them and he wants them gone. There's a lot of immigrants that are learning the hard way that, your proximity to whiteness means nothing. There's a reason why a lot of black people don't care to be, in white spaces. They don't care to bootleg or none of that. There's a reason, because at the end of the day, whether you believe that you're black or not, I'm not black, I'm Somali, they don't care. So now these leaders have gotten on, national television, told their community to vote for this man, their community that probably trusts them, and that same man is talking down on them as people, talking down on their country, and wants them gone. To no surprise. And then you have Somalis now tweeting, that black Americans think it's funny. They're not worried about, what's happening to Somalis when, this is just going to intensify racial profiling, and they're now going to be racially profiled. I'm so sorry. Somali people, yeah, some of y'all are beautiful, but there's no way in hell you're going to look at me and tell me that I look like I'm from Somali. You know that I don't look like, I look like an African American. I'm not getting racially profiled as somebody from Somali. I'm so sorry. They have very distinct features and it does not align with what I look like. So no, I am not worried. And I feel bad for the ones who were not naive and not dumb, but this is something that you have to take up with your community, not mine.
If there's anything this administration has taught us, is that the black Americans were right all along. They were right about how this country operates. They were right about how power is distributed. They were right about who the system experiments on first and who it eventually turns on next when it's done pretending. That's why when some of these communities are trying to threaten the black Americans, telling them, you wait, you are next, the black Americans are very quick to say, oh no, darling, no. We were first. This is our lived experience. And the fact that some people are realizing this now, it shows how disconnected they are from reality. Because for those of us who have read the books, for those of us who have read the history, we know what happened. We know what was done to the black Americans. We know the black history. We have seen this before because the blueprint was tested on the black Americans long ago before everyone else arrived. What makes this moment frustrating is the fact that the black Americans did not keep this knowledge and information to themselves. They warned everyone and told them that aligning yourself with power doesn't mean that power sees you as equal. They say that proximity to power doesn't mean protection. And instead of listening, many people chose to be ignorant. You mocked the black Americans, you called them lazy, you called them woke, and you told them to stop complaining. You somehow convinced yourself that you are different, you are better, that somehow the system would spare you. You convinced yourself that voting the right way would save you, that distancing yourself from the black people would make you acceptable. You honestly believed that as long as someone else was targeted first, you are safe. But now things have changed. The policies are now touching you. And suddenly the system feels unfair. But this is what the black Americans were talking about. This is what happens when you ignore history and choose comfort over the truth. Let's be clear, this is not about celebrating anyone's pain. It's about accountability. It's about realizing that America has never needed to announce who it considers disposable. It shows you through action, and it always has. But most people chose to be ignorant about it. What's happening now should force a reflection and not defensiveness. Because dismissing the black Americans did not save anyone. Voting against your own best interest did not protect you. That believing you were an exemption did not protect you. And this moment should be considered as what it is, a consequence. Not a misunderstanding, not a shock, but a consequence, because choices have consequences. A lesson that ignoring the experience doesn't make it disappear. It just delays the moment when you're forced to learn the hard way.
Okay, so on today's episode of Who is Trump Gonna Punk? We're back to the Somalians. So Trump administration ends temporary protection status for thousands of Somalis in the United States. It says, time's up. Thousands of Somali nationals living in the U.S. must leave the country by March 17th after the Trump administration's decision to end temporary protection status for Somalia. The move comes as DHS continues ICE operations in Minnesota following widespread fraud scheme involving members of the Somali community that has plagued the state. How do we feel about it? I mean, personally, if you're here committing crimes, especially to that magnitude, then you don't need to be here. It's just that simple. And just like I told you guys, I can't go down to Tijuana and start committing crimes and then expect the government to have mercy on me and or the people. So if you want to be in America and you're doing your thing, like, then whatever, that's cool. But if you want to be in America and you're running rackets to the tune of millions and billions of dollars, I can't feel bad for you. And he's giving them time. He's telling them, you have until the March 17th. That's 2 months, right?
Let me start by saying that this conversation is not about hating anyone. It is not about celebrating loss. And it's not about pretending that one community's pain cancels another's. What this is about is reality. And reality does not care about feelings. It does not care about intentions or how people hoped things would turn out. TPS revocation did not happen in a vacuum. It is as a result of political choices, voting patterns, alliances, and a refusal to take warnings seriously. For decades, the Black Americans have been telling anyone who wants to listen how this system actually works. Not how it presents its speeches, not how it makes itself abroad, but how it functions when power feels threatened. That knowledge was earned through laws, it was earned through criminalization, it was earned through broken promises, it was earned through surveillance. And yet, time and time again, that experience is dismissed. People assume it's exaggeration, others assume it's bitterness, others negativity, or even worse, they assume it's ignorance. But what is happening today is proof that what the Black Americans have been saying all along was true. But for some reason, most of these communities were blinded. They honestly believed the ideology they were told about the Black Americans. They were told that black is evil. They were told that black is lazy. They were told that black is bad and that they should only align themselves with whiteness so that they can be protected. And out of ignorance, they ended up following that route. Now here they are today. They are suffering the consequences of their own choices. The Somalis denied their blackness. They openly declared they are not black but Somalis. And that ideology kept them out of touch with the reality. The reality that proximity to whiteness can never save you. That rejecting the black people, that rejecting the people who fought for you, that rejecting the people who made it possible for you to go to that country and live there peacefully will never save you. And that is why the Black Americans got tired. They realized that at the end of the day, most of these people, no matter how much we fight for them, they will never claim us. They will never want to be identified with us. So they decided to mind their own business. And that is why at this point, you're all alone. Because you created enmity where you were needed to create ally. Now the truth is catching up with you that no matter how close you place yourself to whiteness and deny blackness, you can never be saved. That the people whom you're trying to identify yourself with, as long as you don't look like them, they will never see you as one of them. But they will use you to get where they want to be and eventually dump you. And that is exactly what is happening. Because during the elections, they convinced you to vote for this administration. And you, out of self-hate, you decided to follow them. You decided to listen to them. You endorsed a government knowing very well what its policies were all about. So what is happening today is a wake-up call to reevaluate how coalitions are made in this country, who is trusted and who is dismissed. Because solidarity that appears only in moments of crisis is not solidarity, it's desperation. And if there's going to be any lesson taken from this, it shouldn't be we were targeted. It should be we ignored the people who understood the system better than we did. And for those who want to continue arguing that this is unfair or it shouldn't be happening, here is the hard truth. Fairness has never been the standard by which the US immigration policy operates. Interest is. And pretending otherwise only leaves people unprepared when the rules change. This moment is not the end of the story, but it is a checkpoint. And how people respond will determine whether they will keep on running on the same wall or finally change the direction. Black Americans tried to explain this years ago. They did it publicly, they did it at personal cost, and often while being mocked for it. And moving forward, the lesson is very simple. Black Americans have been navigating this system longer than every other person. So when they speak on patterns, when they speak on policies, when they speak on outcomes, they're not guessing and they're not exaggerating. They are drawing from lived experience. And ignoring that experience doesn't make it disappear. It just delays the moment when you're needed to learn the hard way. Thank you guys for watching up to this point. If you're new here, this is Talk with Kate. If you haven't subscribed, kindly consider subscribing to this channel, like this video, and share. Until the next episode, bye.